Good evening, everyone, and welcome tonight to the update. This is day number 166, and it's a full update tonight as we are loaded with what has unfolded in the last couple of hours, pretty much all day long. So I want to thank you for being here. Thank you specifically for moderator Jeffrey Burnett, as always, man. Much appreciated. Welcome to everybody on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Reddit. Welcome to all of you. I'm going to be working on some things over the next few weeks before I head out on a trip heading to Ukraine and Finland. We'll be streaming from there, no problem. But for those of you that watch on Reddit, and Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, please, we're going to be doing some promo videos to show you, or tutorials rather, how to get to the YouTube, because in some of the areas I'm going to go to, it may just be possible to get to one site, and YouTube for sure will be the one. So, but that's a few weeks away, so we'll keep you updated on that. Welcome to all of you. Maxwell Mustang in from Germany, I think I got you memorized. Chuck Pinkham out in California. Paul Kiss, our resident Canadian Pennsylvanian. Sorry. Ricochet, welcome to you, Pat Shove. Ramsa, welcome. Greetings from Vienna. Welcome to Austria. Love having Austria in the house. Clips up from Texas. Rick Berry, welcome to you, sir. Cheryl Brownlee, Wisconsin. Love having Wisconsin in the house. R. Dot, Arizona in the house. Lennon Harold down there in Virginia. Joseph Vanderlyn, good evening from Florida. Andre Tremblay, Montreal. Slava Ukraina. Folks, tonight is loaded. Yes, I've got the man with me. This is about a day before he takes a run down south. And full update tonight, absolutely needed him because it's a lot to get to. So, going to be good, going to be ready, and let's go. Let's roll the chat. Let's communicate. Make sure you like, share, comment, all of the above. Thank you for being here. And this one's very important because tonight we will lay out the truth as we know it up to the minute about what has unfolded specifically in Crimea today, as well as other places. So we shall see. I think you will enjoy and be very updated. Here we go. Welcoming now my partner in crime, Zhenya. Good morning to you, my. All right, hold on. I'm losing connection with him. Hang on 1 second. You know, he is in the middle of a war zone. Larry Debbie, thank you for that comment. And much appreciated. Ben Waldrum out there in Nevada. Let's try that again. That was absolutely goofy. All right. Let's go with take two with you, Jacob. Good morning to you, my friend. How you doing over there?
I'm doing great. Good evening.
I know it's very late for you, and sometimes it's tough, but we really appreciate it, especially tonight. I definitely had to have you in here tonight. So much so much talk going on about what's happening in Crimea. We are going to break it down with the most up-to-date information. We're going to give video. We're going to look at the big story. We're going to hear from Kyiv. We're going to hear from Russia. We're going to hear from everything and try to understand what's going on. So we will get to that. But thank you for being here. I know that soon, next day or so, you'll be heading south for a run. And
yeah,
tomorrow?
Southeast. Probably tomorrow, maybe after tomorrow, early morning.
Okay.
Yeah, well, today or tomorrow.
We'll be talking about it. So, all right. Well, let's get to it. Big night, as always. every 24 hours, it's just amazing how something new unfolds, how something new happens, and it's just crazy. But here we are. So we're going to get to Crimea. That is our main story tonight. We're going to update as best we can, but we need to start with some other things first. First of all, I want to talk about Kharkiv. Many times we talk about Kharkiv, and for those that are joining us that are new, let's just make sure everybody knows it's right here in northeastern Ukraine. But Kharkiv is being shelled, hit. I mean, and the attempt, of course, is to destroy it. So I got this picture here, Jacob, and you see at the bottom in the red circle, this is Kharkiv, and it says, I love Kharkiv, yellow, blue Kharkiv. So many times we just say these are big, big cities, but we don't provide a picture for people to see. Kharkiv's big, and it's under shelling. But what I wanted to be specific about tonight is Russia is targeting transportation. They're targeting buses. They're targeting the trams. They're targeting the ways that people in a large city like that travel and get around the city. They're trying to immobilize that city. So we're seeing that that is a major target, is transportation.
Yes, and Kharkiv, it's a principal place for Russia, let's say, and for Ukraine, because it's a previous capital city of Ukraine, and it's really close to Russia. And plus, it was more than 50% for sure. People who were living there, they were talking Russian language, but with the Russian language, they were staying for Ukraine. And
absolutely. Yeah. And that's where people do not understand. And we need to really spend time on Crimea tonight, but this could be a show within itself, understanding the culture and giving people, the backstory on language and culture. But Ukrainians are kind. Ukrainians are peaceful. And especially in the central and east, Russian was spoken more. And to be honest, Zhenya, when I first started working even in Western Ukraine, in Khmelnytsky, there with you guys over 2 decades ago, a majority of folks spoke Russian. And the church services were in Russian, school people were speaking Russian. And then over time, Ukraine was gaining its identity. And then you were speak Russian and learning Ukrainian. The kids would start studying and learning in Ukrainian. It was just an evolution. But here's what I want to say about Ukrainians. So, I'm going to be there soon, and I have thousands of friends in that city, and they know me for decades. I can only speak to them in Russian, and they will speak back to me because it's a kindness and a respect. At least I can communicate with them. Would I prefer to be able to speak Ukrainian? Of course. But my Ukrainian is poor, and my Russian, we get along just fine. So my point being, nobody's going to slap me and hit me and say, don't speak that, because there's a respect that I'm an American, and at least I'm trying to communicate. My point being, people they don't understand this war. Basically, Putin wants the Soviet Union back and a whole lot more. And Ukraine is the wall right now for it. Ukrainians are kind.
Yeah. Yes, it's confirmed, and the history confirms it. During the Soviet Union time, the main language was Russian. Then the basically the only language is real official was Russian. They were doing everything, and it's still there. In Russia, there is 160 nations, let's say.
Correct.
And in some areas, most people's, over 50, it doesn't matter if over 50% people talks own language, not Russian.
Correct.
Russia made it that the school programs, the main subjects like physics, math, and so on, history, only in Russian. Why?
Exactly.
They want to dissolve the other nations. And this is what they were doing before to Ukraine. And we had a lot of pro-Russian guys, let's say, in politics before 2014 who was doing everything they could, and even after, to make Ukraine pro-Russian. But now it's already done.
Correct.
And they're losing Ukraine. This is why they hate it and they mad, and it's the huge country, and they could do nothing with that. So this is why they're trying to just destroy the country, the cities, and so on.
Exactly. Well, let's move to another city, Nikopol, under constant shelling. This is a report from Valentin Reznichenko. He's the head of the regional military administration for Nikopol, and that is a city of 105, 110,000. Once again, you know, a decent sized town. 120 rockets from Grad multiple rocket launchers were fired in the city of Nikopol on the night of August 9th. The shelling never stopped. And for those of you that may not know where it's at, we're talking about this area right here. And of course, if I change the color here, this is where the nuclear power plant is. That is one of the main stories right now. And they're being shelled from the nuclear power plant. So, Zhenya, here is just another example of another city. Just put them in line. You know, last night you were resting, but I showed the video that the girl made who is still in Severodonetsk. And I reminded people it was 45 days ago that we were talking about, hey, can we hold Severodonetsk? Can we hold Lysychansk? And now, you know, they're 40 kilometers in from that. I did all the measurements. And I told people last night that city's gone. There's no repairing it. It's gone. And that is what the Russian forces are trying to do in all of these cities. Nikopol is just another example of that. Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. We need to mention that before we get into the big story. Energoatom described possible scenarios of aftermath in case of explosions on the nuclear power plant and explained 30,000 square kilometers would be unlivable. 2 million square kilometers would be contaminated. Turkey and Crimea would be under direct threat, and up to 2 million people might have to be evacuated. But the games still go on. Mining, shelling, nuclear terrorism. What's your thoughts on that this morning for you?
Okay. In reality, the real terrorists, they at least taking responsibility for what they're doing. They have ideas, and they, let's say, they publish it, and Russia does.
Let's make that clear for everybody, and then you finish. Russia came out over the last 48 hours and said, yeah, we're going to disconnect the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant from Ukraine, and we're going to connect it only to the Russian systems.
They almost done it, but their terror there is not about them. They claim that one of their officers that we will explode it. We will. I mean, we destroy it. It doesn't matter what kind of consequences we will have.
We will have it.
This power plant, we will. Yeah, it will be Russian territory, or it will be the desert. This is the terrorists.
It's terrorism. Let's bump up. Let's bump up now to another area in the east, and this is the latest from the Institute for the Study of War. We reference their materials quite a bit. This is the latest update. And finally, they have discovered what you and I have been talking about for months. With that said, for those that are new, let's go over here. We're now talking about this region here. Now, Zhenya, Institute for the Study of War came out and said, we see the movement of Russian forces in the villages to the northeast of Bakhmut and coming up from the southwest, trying to come into Bakhmut. And then they came out, and listen, these guys are good. I just think they were a little late on this one. And they said, we see that the M3 highway is their goal because that is the main road. You and I had discussed that. We've talked about it. We've shown the map. We've shown the distances. The M3 is going to become the battleground there to get access on that highway. Other people are recognizing it now, so it's good.
They usually they does it. They try to do it again. They want to cut, they cut a bit because they cannot go straight. I mean, they do it really slowly. This is why they're trying to cut the angles and going from other sides. Okay, we wait for some help with a weapon.
Bring it on.
Give us a weapon. Help us with a weapon.
There was some statements made about that today, and we're going to look at them in just a moment. Now, next one, very active skies in Belarus. These Ilyushin 76s are running guns and missiles, and it's a constant rotation. And you and I talked about this 4 days ago, whatever it was, the extension of the closed skies and the two other locations that closed, and now we know why. That's where those planes are landing, and they're, once again, whether it's distraction or not, Ukraine must pay attention. Ukraine must pay attention.
I think it should be, it might be a distraction, for sure, but as well, it could be real preparation for the next attack, because it could be like the next attempt from Russian side to have some success in this war on the Ukrainian territory. It could be last one they could have. This is why they may try to do. To use everything they have, all the sides. So we have to be careful with Belarus.
Okay, and let's just do that. We have to be careful. We're talking about all this region up here. This is where the stuff is happening. Now, we're getting ready in a moment to spend the bulk of our time talking about Crimea tonight. And let me ask you a question. You just answer it. Statement and a question. Every time that Ukraine has done something significant in the war, whether it was the sinking of the Moskva or potentially, regardless, Crimea was hit, struck, accident, we'll see. But every time something major like that has happened, Russia has responded. Typically, they rain missiles on Kyiv or they try to respond the next day. So I'm thinking that there is it's always high alert, but if there could be an extreme high alert, it's going to be over the next 24 hours. And, once again, that just gives credence to this stuff up here in the north. It gives credence to this stuff over here in the east, for sure. No matter what the final result is, Russia looks terrible today. Terrible with what has happened in Crimea. And for many of you joining, you may not even know what we're talking about yet, but you will soon. So we have to pay attention to Belarus. We have to pay attention to Kharkiv in the east. We have to pay attention to everything. There's no letdown. Your thoughts on that?
Okay. Coming to Crimea,
No. We're
Today
not
is a
Crimea
bad day.
yet.
Okay.
Just the question is, when large things have happened, it seems within the next
Yes.
24 hours, Russia responds with something big. That's
Every
all I'm
time
saying.
it
Every
was
time.
like that.
Yes.
Every time when we had some success, or with the on battlefield or politic field,
Or political field. Exactly.
then Russia answers, and they trying to, I mean, to do something bad, really, like a sign they cannot stay. You know, it's like you know, like with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
There is, I mean, it's simple.
It is.
They do it like that.
And we'll see. But next 24 hours could be vitally important. Now, next quick topic. And I'm holding the intensity back, or the wave we're getting ready to unload on Crimea. This is the official document. I showed the video yesterday. It was translated into English. This is the official document that Zaporozhye will hold a referendum. We know, folks, we know it's all a joke. We know that they will cheat, lie. There will be no referendum. They'll just give numbers, and we understand all that. But regardless, the process has taken place, and this is the official document that is signed, it is stamped, it is notarized. It's legit. Zaporozhye will hold a referendum. Now, Podolyak, we're going to talk about him a lot over the next few minutes, responds. And I titled it this way: the guys in Kyiv are not playing. Podolyak said, without the withdrawal of the Russian Federation from Crimea and Donbass, Ukraine will not conduct peace negotiations. Mikhail Podolyak, advisor to the head of President's office, said that the primary condition for negotiations, the withdrawal of Russian troops outside the borders before a full-scale invasion, has changed. Now the conditions are different. First, a tactical defeat of Russia, then only the internationally recognized borders of Ukraine from 1991. If any point of conflict remains with Russia, this will be an unfinished war. Why am I showing Podolyak's tweet there? Here's why. Because Zelensky just said, if there is any referendum, there will be no negotiations. This will only be war, and there will be no third-party negotiations. We will not listen. We will not talk. You cannot send Turkey here or Germany here or France here. No negotiations. We then see Zaporozhye do that trash yesterday, and now here comes Podolyak. Not only no negotiations, but this war is not going to end. Forget February 24th. We want our borders internationally agreed upon from 1991. Thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay,
a big one.
probably. Yeah, it's like, yes, and it's right, and I'm happy to hear it. But one thing I would like to remind to people: every time Russia really loves to use that word referendum. Then later they selling it to their own people like something legitimate. I mean, like something real, having foundation. Like, okay, there is a will of the local people who lives there, and they were voting and sharing their will. So their will was like having Russia there, but it never worked like that. This is what they did in Crimea. They occupied it in February and had referendum in May, and then they selling later that, hey, we have, this is our foundation for being in Crimea, because a referendum people want it. No, it was opposite. They changing the order. In reality, referendum should be based and founded on some laws, and in Ukraine, so on which laws were they had this referendum in Crimea, or this one on Zaporozhye, on occupied territory during the war? No.
May
This
I
is
ask you a
not.
question?
Yes.
And we prepare nothing. I mean, I have everything ready to go, and we just talk. I want you to explain something to the people tonight.
Okay.
I hope you're going to give the answer I'm looking for, but let's look at Crimea for a moment. The 2014 referendum, annexation,
Mm-hmm.
and stealing of Ukrainian sovereign territory. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to 2014, you had friends in Crimea, of course,
Mm-hmm.
as I did, and still do. Don't misunderstand me.
Okay.
But
Mm-hmm.
living 8 years under occupation begins to change people's mentality. It begins to
Mm-hmm.
dissolve friendships. It begins to make even good people, they begin to question things living under all of that intensity. If
Mm-hmm.
we allow these annexations to happen, the same thing will happen. This is why Russia must be defeated on the battlefield. So you've experienced that, where the mindsets begin to change once people live under
Mm-hmm.
occupation. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And it has different stages of people experiencing in that area. The first time they having a hope, they losing the hope.
Mm-hmm.
They trying to find something to which what will make them happy in that condition. Then they surely all of this time, basis, and sources influence because good on that field, informational war,
Mm-hmm.
and with the time, when people hear, like drop by drop, like sign by sign, that Ukrainians did that, and they are lying, from their TV channels. With the time, they say, okay, we're good. We are used to this Russian three colors flags and this music, and etc., etc. And with the time, when something changing, they already, close to, okay, like don't change everything. Like, we just started. We
Mm-hmm.
just started to live at least somewhere normally.
A little bit
At least
normally.
some,
And here we come
yeah,
again.
just,
The
and now it's
bottom
come
line
again. We
is,
hate it.
the bottom
But
line is, with personal experience, people
but
change living under occupation.
yeah, but I wanted to add a couple things that
Okay.
with the time, even in the churches, even the place of truth, place of freedom, people were starting to live like, oh yes, it is not completely truth, but it's better for us to not to talk about this, otherwise we could be, thrown in the prison. So
Correct.
let's be wise and
Mm-hmm.
make right choice to not to talk about like global truth, but let's save our family.
That's it.
This is
That's what
how.
happens.
And then when you ask people, hey, why are you sitting there, and just being quiet, and they answering, oh, we can do nothing. And this is Christians, this is people like from everywhere. We can do nothing. This is what occupation does with the
Mm-hmm.
people. This is what Soviet Union made with its people.
Zhenya,
We can
what
do
you're
nothing.
describing is people lose their individuality, people lose their
Yes.
courage, people lose their boldness, people lose their ability to stand up for what is right and make hard decisions. That's what the Soviet Union is all about. We won't get hung up there. We've got to get to the big story tonight. But folks, there is insight.
This is why Russia hate what has happened in 2014 in Kiev, in Maidan.
Correct.
This is why they hate it so much.
Because
Okay.
you stood up for what you believed in.
Yes.
Now, President Zelensky calls on the West to ban all Russian travelers. It is past time to lock down. And then we have Kaja Kallas, and she is that bulldog from Estonia. Stop issuing tourist visas to Russians. Visiting Europe is a privilege, not a human right. Air travel from Russia is shut down. It means while Schengen countries issue visas, neighbors to Russia carry the burden. For example, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, sole access points. It's time to end tourism from Russia now. It's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. So
we need to do
question,
it.
What was the comment from Russia, from Medvedev?
Yes. Tell everybody what, I mean, don't translate it. Clean it up.
Okay. He said.
What did Medvedev say?
He said, what kind of, this mess, this woman from Estonia, expressing in her speeches about this is a privilege to visit Europe, and he said it's not something European people made for them. They reached something, have some success. It's just a mistake of us that we gave this freedom to them.
Exactly.
Their freedom is not, it's just, he said, the freedom of people in Europe, it's our mistake.
That's exactly right.
This is what ex-president of Russia publicly proclaims
in response,
and shares a response, and what world says about what European countries will say. He says it's just our we didn't work good. He said.
Yeah, we failed because we let the freedom. We failed.
Yes.
I read it. I saw it. I'll help you now. We failed as Russia because we allowed the Europeans to run with their freedom too much. But we will not make that mistake again. That's what Medvedev says. Unbelievable. Now, this is where we're going to camp for a few minutes, and then we'll get you to bed so you can get some rest. Day 167, we're together. War in Ukraine. Massive explosions. I titled that Explosions on Purpose because we do not want to be inaccurate. Everything that we're going to share over the next 10 to 15 minutes has been fact-checked to the best of our ability in multiple layers. So, you notice the title doesn't say massive missile strikes. It doesn't say anything. It says massive explosions in Crimea. They did happen at the military airfield Saki in Crimea, near right there in the town of Novofedorovka. When did it happen? Here's all the facts. It happened at 11:10 a.m. The 9th of August, 2022. No, I'm sorry. The 11:10 is when the last satellite picture was taken. The strikes took place at 3:20, 15:20 in the afternoon. There's a purpose for this image here. So 100% we're going to be accurate, and this is where we're going to start. Here we go. Crimea airfield massive explosions. This is an aerial view of the city of Novofedorovka. To the right, you see the airstrips, and then kind of looks like a helmet there in a big circular half circle. That is all the parking for the airplanes. In occupied Crimea, explosions rang out at the airfield in Novofedorovka. 4 explosions rang out in Novofedorovka in the occupied Crimea. Then the detonation began. Local media reports that claps have been ringing or noises for an hour. So, fact number 1, there were 4 massive explosions at this airfield, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, correct. There were so many.
Go ahead.
Yes, we've seen, and it was published by local citizens, the media, the videos, and the pictures a lot.
Yes.
A lot from different places, different points, with different comments. And the main thing you could see in common that people being scared, and surely they made decision to leave Crimea. The people who were having the vacations there. I mean, and yes, the explosions. It's confirmed. The source, the reason why. I mean, the source, who did it? It's still there is ideas.
We're going to talk about it.
Yes.
Let's start with this fact. Let's start with this fact, and then we'll go through it. 100% 4 major explosions happened at that airbase today. Mega explosions. Zhenya was correct. We have so many videos, commentaries, pictures from angles, geotagging, geolocations. Russia has acknowledged that it happened. So this is a fact. Now, I have a few of those clips, Zhenya, I've put together. I'm going to roll that now, and then we'll talk about it. Here we go. Whoopa! Different angle. Wait, look how long it takes for the sound to get here. Here comes more. There were 4 major explosions like that. Now we also have video coming. This is confirmed, a destroyed airplane. This is confirmed, and I will show you the proof of it in a moment on the map. This is 400 meters from where the planes are parked. This explosion took place. I'll show you the sheer power of this explosion. Don't worry, no dead bodies or anything, just damage.
Слышь, хорошо там никто не сидел, блин, да?
That piece of metal went through that vehicle.
Это пиздец.
Перед Крымским мостом на выезд уже из Крыма скопилась огромная колоссальная пробка. Очень медленное движение. Стоим уже полчаса. Еще пока в Керчи даже, еще к мосту близко не подъехали, а пробка уже стоит, все.
So there's basically a little look at the picture. Now, I had other videos, tons of them. I just pulled those together just to give an overview. Some of the videos, I don't want to make jokes, okay? It's very serious, the war. But I have video of the tourists from Russia laying on the beaches, and the explosions happened. And brother, they were up and running to their cars in 30 seconds, literally grabbing the children, dragging them, experiencing what Ukrainians experience every day. They were screaming and running in sheer terror. Now, I told you I'm going to validate a couple things. The first thing we're going to validate for everybody tonight is location. Right here, you see the arrow on the left going into the parking area, and over on the right in the purple line, that is where aircraft is parked. That is the location of the strike where you saw the burnt cars and the huge, explosion, where you saw the burnt cars and the huge piece of metal through that other car. That is the exact geotagged location. So we are definitely here by this airport. Now, the other thing, Zhenya, let me do this, okay? And I'm going to ask you, because you've experienced this. You were at the camp for the refugees a couple of weeks ago. You heard the cruise missile fly over your head. Was there any denying that it was a missile? I mean, could you hear it good?
Yes, it was obvious, and
okay. I'm investigating here. You didn't go, was that a missile? No.
Mm-hmm.
It was obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is why I'm going to say right now, this is not a fact, but I do not believe it was a missile strike. And I'm going to show why. See if my logic has any hold up here. I wish it was, but I don't think so. The first boy in the video clip, that the explosion happens pretty close behind him, he never heard anything flying. The boom behind him surprised him. Just watch. I'll play the little bit of the beginning of it. And this is why I'm confident that it was not a missile. So he's filming the airplanes. Airplane taking off. Whoopa! Bam! Okay, so my point being, he didn't hear a missile. Nobody has reported that, even people that are on, Ukrainian side in that occupation. So, not a missile. The other thing is, if you look at the map here, the red marker represents where this airbase is. Closest points we could get to get there would be Odessa area or the Mykolaiv front lines, and you're 270 kilometers and 240 kilometers. Now, I'm not going to say absolutely it's not a missile that happened, but I think the evidence that we've evaluated all afternoon and have fact checked points to something else. It doesn't mean Ukraine didn't do it, but it doesn't, for me. Now, what are your thoughts? Just for what we've seen so far, and then we're going to go deeper.
Okay. The situation in Russia is quite specific, special, and for them, they're trying to do the best for their people. Would have this kind of attitude that, hey, we are winning, we are the best, having the best army. So in case if they would, let's say, hey, okay, our super mega duper air defense system failed. No, in Crimea, they cannot say anything like it is. The Crimea is not a safe place. Nothing about that. Or as well, something like, hey, our let's say the best army intelligence. I mean, no, not working. Nothing, as well, for sure. Yes, we didn't get any specific missiles with that range from United States or any other countries. We have one. We had right before war. We had one project in Ukrainian military with a range of Ukrainian missiles up to 400 kilometers, but we have no confirmation. So this is all jokes and comments official from Ukraine. It was probably it's the same reason as every time. Probably somebody was smoking in the wrong
And dropped the
place
cigarette.
and dropped the cigarette.
Correct. Well, look at here. Why does this make people so nervous? And why, honestly, you know as well as I know, right now, there's a probka, a traffic jam on that Kerch Bridge. Everybody's leaving. I mean, I can't say everybody. A lot of people are leaving. They've been scared now. So, you know, when you start looking at, no matter what happened, sabotage or a missile,
Partisans.
whatever, it's a problem because now, brother, if that Kerch Bridge gets taken out, and that's in the green circle, that is a game changer for this war. So Russia right now has a lot of egg on its face. Now, this is the satellite image as of 11:10 a.m. this morning, the 9th of August, 2022. You can look there and you see the planes parked throughout the airstrip there. What was there? Here's what we know. Ukrainian intelligence, satellite intelligence, at the moment, it is known that 4 hours before the strike, explosion, sabotage, whatever, the following... Why do people call me when we're streaming? The following were on the open areas of the Kharkiv airfield. 13 Sukhoi 30cm fighter jets, bombers. They can do both. 12 Sukhois 24 MRs, 1 Ilyushin 76, and 6 Mi-8s, which are helicopters. So this morning, we know that many planes were on that airfield. And the other thing is, we're very confident that at least one plane is burned up. We have that video that's verified of one burnt up plane. Over to the right, you could see some loaders on the extended video where they load missiles and different things. But other people said, well, that looks like a plane over there. In my opinion, it wasn't. I think for sure, though, because you can see the nose cone on the airplane with the long piercing pin. You know it's one of these planes that was burned up. So that's a lot of hardware there that may or may not be completely destroyed. I know of for sure one is.
Yes, like this is, yeah. You make a comment that one for sure. Haristovich.
Right. I'll do this and you roll with it. So the games started to play, and I really mean that word on purpose. The games. Zhenya made a mention about, oh, I think they dropped a cigarette and it blew themselves up. Okay, well, here goes Arestovich. And Arestovich, political analyst, smart guy, works to help with communication liaison out of Kyiv with the president's office. He also does the nightly updates, looking at the maps and all of this stuff. Smart guy. But he is also a comedian and very good at communicating. So he named 2 unofficial versions of explosions at the military airfield. He said version number 1, it was a strike with Ukrainian weapons. While the Allies are not giving long-range missiles for us, our military-industrial complex also does not stand still. And that's kind of what you were talking about. Version number 2, Ukrainian partisans, meaning some type of sabotage. So that was kind of the first responses that came out. Then this happened. This is an official state of emergency declared in Crimea. That document is from the president of the Russian Federation. I'm reading it for you. And it says this is an introduction of the state of emergency in the Republic of Crimea, dated the 9th of August, 2022. It is notarized and it is signed by Vladimir Putin. So we have a state of emergency there. What does that mean?
Yeah. It means that Russia confirmed that something going wrong, not according their plan, at least. The second, they admit that not everything they control, even Crimea.
I mean, that is, we're only given facts. You know, the fact is, in Crimea, it is under a state of emergency right now, authorized by Vladimir Putin. Period. It happened.
Okay. The question. If officially nobody died or being injured, it was the first official announce and comment.
Okay.
Then what should be the reason why they do
have a state of emergency? Thank you.
Yes.
Come on, man. That's why people are here each night watching this stream. We're telling the truth. If Igor had dropped a cigarette, why do you have a state of emergency?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Official response from the Russian Federation on Crimea. This is their official response. I translated it. I got my guy standing here going, this is interesting. At about 1520 on the territory of the Saki airfield near the settlement of Novofedorovka, several aviation munitions detonated at a loaded storage site. No one was injured in the explosion. We already have, as of just minutes ago, before we were streaming, one confirmed death. Aviation equipment at the airfield is not damaged. No, I'm 100% confident at least one plane is destroyed. Measures are being taken to extinguish the fire and find out the causes of the explosion. According to the report from the site, there was no fire impact on the ammunition storage area at the airfield. So that, my friends, is the official response from the Russian Federation. But Zhenya, your point is golden. If this is just something internal and we messed up, we detonated something by accident and it caused 4 different explosions, why would you have a state of emergency? Exactly. Dude, that was smart. You surprised me on that one. Not with your analysis, but just that was really good. All right, now the war of words continued. Here comes Ukraine back. A source in the defense ministry stated that the cause of the Crimea explosions was from a fire safety violation. Okay? And that was out of Russia. The Ministry of Defense responds, "We cannot determine the cause of the fire. However, it once again reminds of the rules of fire safety and the prohibition of smoking in unspecified places." Folks, we're not making this up. This is what happened today in this order.
It's official.
Official from the Defense Department. Watch where you're smoking. They're playing this war of words. I mean, it's beautiful. But then we get a really clear, concise word just a little while ago from a late night tweet from Podolyak. He responds regarding Crimea, and I already translated it, and here it is. Ukraine is not involved in the explosions at the airfield in Russian-occupied Crimea. And this, listen, that does not mean they're not, folks. This is chess. Putin's the one that declared the state of emergency. Putin. Not the governor of Crimea. Putin. And now Podolyak comes back and goes, we didn't do anything. What a brilliant response. This was stated by advisor to the head of the office of President Mikhail Podolyak. According to him, the causes of the explosions could be anything from the detonation of ammunition, which the Russian Defense Ministry is talking about, to bungling, being clumsy in the Russian army. He then said, could it be someone from the partisan movement is gaining momentum? Of course, because people who live in the occupation understand that the time of the occupation is ending and you need to show your position. Crimea is Ukraine. Brilliant response. Zelensky tonight on his update just said, Crimea is ours. He didn't say anything. Crimea is ours. And crime, in fact, I think I have it. No, right here. The last tweet. It was Podolyak that said it. Zelensky, in his speech in the night, said only Crimea is ours. Podolyak comes back again. The future of the Crimean Peninsula is to be the pearl of the Black Sea and not a military base for terrorists. Everything is just beginning. Advisor to the head of the Office of President, Mikhail Podolyak. Do you know what he said? He is a really smart guy, or has got a good advisor. And I think we've lost our man there. See if I get him back in a moment. What a brilliant, brilliant statement that was. Can you see the chess? You've heard what Zhenya and I have been talking about, and it's absolutely brilliant, in my opinion, how Ukraine responded. I assume everything's good there, but I did lose connection with him. And folks, this is why we enjoy you being here each night. This is real. Oh, I think I got him back. I got him back. You froze.
Okay.
We were talking about the Black Sea. You're okay.
Yeah.
This is real time
Sorry.
stuff, man. Now, Zhenya, I want to just do this as we close out. That tweet that Podolyak sends, very clearly stated, but I must remind everyone that this chess game in Crimea started about a month ago, and it was with this.
На самом деле мы с вами прекрасно понимаем, что это прямая и явная угроза. Особенно в условиях того, что произошло с Крымом. Крым вернулся в Россию. И если какое-либо другое государство, будь то Украина или страны НАТО, считают, что Крым не является российским, для нас это системная угроза. А если такое государство входит в враждебный для нас блок, а я вот недаром вспоминал целеуказания стратегических ядерных сил натовских стран, то для нас эта угроза носит постоянный характер. И если во главе украинского государства становится очередной сумасшедший националист или какая-то слабая опереточная фигура, то в этом случае жди конфликта. Вплоть до нападения. Поэтому президентом страны было принято решение. Кстати, это решение полностью укладывается.
So he goes on and keeps talking about it, but the bottom line is, I wanted to remind you of that. I showed you guys that a month ago. Medvedev talking about Crimea. It's Russia's and it's ours and the nationalists in Kyiv. And he goes on to say, if Crimea is struck, it will be doomsday for Ukraine. So we have, we've analyzed it up to the minute. Folks, this is what has happened. We will get more information tomorrow and over the days to come, but you can see the intricacies of this major event today. This is an event like the sinking of the Moskva. This deal here in Crimea this is a game changer regardless of how it happened. And we know that there's going to be some chaos on the Russian side for sure.
One of the comments of Ukrainian, let's say, leaders, in the end, he used like this: okay, guys, you know how bad to smoke in the wrong places. Who knows where it be next time?
That's my point, and we nailed it. Yeah. I'm very confident in what we've shared. The whole world's trying to figure out what happened in Crimea. We've done our homework today and comfortable in what we've shared. But you know what? There's a lot of the war of words right now, and the play on words. That's what I'm trying to say. Making these accusations, movements. So we'll get more clarity. The bottom line is it was a good day for Ukraine. Good day.
Yes, today, and I think with all of that information, there is a special preparation for the new help, military help from the West, from the United States and the country, with long-range missiles. This is a preparation.
Absolutely.
Just yes.
Well, the best is yet to come. All right, my friend. I know you are exhausted. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you for staying with Ukraine.
Do pobedi. Until victory. Yep. Great night. Hey, I will talk to you, but folks may not if you roll out tomorrow heading south. And I know they'll be seeing it in the chat right now, but be safe. And tough place area you're going, so be safe. And
thank you.
Don't take any wooden nickels. You got a heart for me?
Mm-hmm.
You got a heart for me?
Okay. Yes. Oh man, my stamp.
You got to get. It's all right. Just lay it on the ground. Give me a heart.
No.
Oh, you got to get professional.
Yes.
Only professional. A good night to all.
To all, a good night.